Jesus, Moses, and an old guy are playing golf. Jesus steps up and tees off, but the ball slices to the left and straight into the water trap. Jesus calmly walks out onto the water, takes his next shot, and lands on the green. Moses tees off and also slices it into the water trap. He walks up to the edge of the water, raises his hands and parts it, then takes his next shot, landing on the green. The old man tees off and slices it towards the water trap. But just before it lands in the water, a trout jumps up and grabs the ball in its mouth. Before the trout lands back in the water though, a hawk swoops down and grabs the trout, then starts flying off with it. After a moment, the trout manages to slip out of the talons of the hawk, falls and lands on the green. The ball pops out of the trout's mouth and rolls into the hole. Jesus looks at the old man in disbelief and says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Dad, if you aren't going to play properly, then don't play at all." A balding white-haired man walks into a jewelry store with a beautiful, much younger woman by his side. He told the jeweler he was looking for a special ring for his girlfriend. The jeweler looked through his stock and brought out a $5,000 ring. The man said, "No, I'd like to see something more special." At that statement, the jeweler went to his special stock and brought another ring over. "Here's a stunning ring at only $40,000, the jeweler said. The lady's eyes sparkled and her whole body trembled with excitement. The old man, seeing this, said, "We'll take it." The jeweler asked how payment would be made, and the man stated, "By check." "I know you need to make sure my check is good, so I'll write it now and you can call the bank Monday to verify the funds. I'll pick the ring up Monday afternoon." On Monday morning, the jeweler angrily phoned the old man and said, "Sir, there's no money in that account." "I know," said the old man, "but let me tell you about my weekend. I just got accused of mansplaining. For women reading this, that means explaining things to women that I didn't need to explain to them. I don't know why everyone thinks of mobsters as bad guys. When I was a kid, my next-door neighbor who was a mobster would pay me $20 to start his car every morning. The professor of medicine is teaching the students about dissection. He tells them, to be a good surgeon, you need to have a strong stomach. See? He sticks a finger in the corpse, pulls it out, and licks it. The students repeat it after him, and all of them gag, grimace, or vomit. The professor nods and continues, a surgeon also needs good power of observation. I didn't lick the finger that I stuck in the corpse, but the one next to it. A soccer mom walks into a tattoo parlor. "What can I do for you, madam?" asks the tattoo artist. "I'd like a Christmas tree on my left thigh and a turkey on my right thigh," says the woman. "Certainly," says the artist, and he gets straight to work. After finishing up the tattoos, the artist asks the woman, "So, what was your inspiration for these?" The woman said, "My husband always complains that there's nothing to eat between Thanksgiving and Christmas." Golfers are so respectful. Two guys are out playing golf when they come to a hole near the edge of the course where a road runs past. Just as they are about to tee off, a funeral procession drives down the road. The guy at the tee stops, takes his hat off, and respectfully waits for it to pass and then gets ready to take his shot. "That's damn decent of you, mate," says his playing partner. "Least I could do," he says. "I mean, I was married to her for 20 years. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs visit the Vatican for a blessing. The Pope greets them kindly, but Grumpy raises his hand and asks, "Your Holiness, are there any dwarf nuns in the Vatican?" The Pope smiles. "No, my son, I don't think so." Grumpy turns to the others and whispers, "See, Dopey, I told you you were dating a penguin." A horse comes home after a long day at work. Horse sigh, don't say it. Horse's human wife, Simon, you know I have to say it. Horse, no you don't. You say it every time I come home looking sad and it's annoying. Wife, you used to laugh at it. Horse, yeah, I laughed the first few times, but now I'm sick of it. Wife, so would you say I'm beating a dead horse? Giggles. Horse, honey, I'm not in the mood for jokes right now. Wife, okay, I'll stop. Horse, thank you. Wife, so how was your day? Horse, it sucked. My boss was. Wife, why the long face? Laughs hysterically. Horse, I hate you. Edit, formatting. How many fruit flies does it take to screw in a light bulb? 2, but you do have to wonder how they got there in the first place. The ski trip. Jack decided to go skiing with his buddy Bob. They loaded up Jack's station wagon and headed north. After driving for a few hours, they got caught in a terrible blizzard. They pulled into a nearby farmhouse and asked the attractive lady of the house if they could spend the night. "I'm a recent widow," she explained, "and I'm afraid the neighbors will talk if I let you stay in my house." "Not to worry," Jack said. "We'll be happy to sleep in the barn." 9 months later, Jack got a letter from the widow's attorney. He called up his friend Bob and said, "Bob, do you remember that good-looking widow from the farm where we stayed?" "Yes, I do." "Did you happen to get up in the middle of the night, go up to the house, and have sex with her?" "Yes, I did." "Did you happen to use my name instead of telling her your name?" Bob's face turned red and he said, "Yeah, I'm afraid I did." "Well, thanks a lot, pal. She just died and left me her farm." The skinny lumberjack. A very thin fellow wandered into a lumberjacking outfit's personnel office and announced that he was looking for a job. The hiring manager looked the guy over and said, "You don't look like you can even hold an axe, much less swing one." The skinny fellow said, "I may not look like much, but I can cut down trees like nobody you've ever seen before." The manager pointed out 5 large trees and told the man to cut them down and to come see him when he was done. Handing the man an axe, he walked back into the office, figuring that was the last he'd see of him. 20 minutes later, the thin fellow was back. "All done," he said. The manager said, "You mean to tell me you cut down those 5 huge trees in 20 minutes? Where'd you learn to lumberjack like that?" The man replied, "The Sahara Forest." Manager said, "You mean the Sahara Desert?" The skinny guy said, "Oh, is that what they're calling it now?" A woman complained to her friend that she had a sore throat. The friend replied, "Well, whenever I have a sore throat, I just give my husband a blowjob and the soreness goes away immediately." They meet the next day and the woman says, "I took your advice. You were right. The soreness disappeared immediately. Also, your husband couldn't believe it was your ideas." Memory Course 2. Couples, friends for a long time, are out to dinner. After the meal, the husbands are chatting together and the wives are chatting together. First guy says, "You know, I took a memory course and it has changed my life. I'm on top of everything at work. I have all my fantasy league stats at my fingertips. It's amazing." His friend says, "That sounds great. What's the course called?" First guy says, "It's called what do you call that flower?" "Long stem, thorns on it." Friend says, "A rose?" First guy says, "That's right," and turns to his wife and says, "Rose, what's the name of that memory course I took?" Goodreads, a TV crew and journalists visited the old farmer in the countryside to do an interview for an educational program for kids. "Please tell us about your day." "Well, Sonny, I wake up in the morning and I take a shot of whiskey." Wait, this isn't going to work. We can't tell the children in front of the screen that you start drinking first thing in the morning. What if you said that you read a good book instead?" "All right, Sonny, whatever you say." "So I get up in the morning and I read the newspaper. I get dressed. I read 2 more magazines before breakfast. I feed the pigs, and then I work outside in the fields until my thirst for knowledge grows so much that I have to read 2 or 3 more books again. I get dizzy from all the reading, so I lie down and rest until the evening when I bring the animals in, and then I read the evening news. Afterwards, I go over to the library where my friends are already waiting. We finish 4 or 5 more volumes together until the library closes and the librarian kicks us out, and then we go over to Gary's because he's got a printing press. Just watching Alien vs. Predator, and as soon as the American news is finished, I might pop on a movie. The legend of Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, Little Johnny is excited because the circus has come to town and his mom has got front row tickets for him. Finally, the evening comes and Little Johnny and his mom go off to the big top. Little Johnny sits there and enjoys the lions and the tigers and the jugglers and the trapeze artists, and finally out comes Little Johnny's favorites, the clowns. Johnny is loving the clowns and their humorous japes until one of the clowns comes up to him and says, "Little boy, are you the front end of an ass?" "No," replies Little Johnny. "Are you the rear end of an ass?" "No," replies Little Johnny again. "In that case," says the clown, "you must be no end of an ass." Little Johnny is distraught and he runs out of the circus and all the way home in tears. When his mom catches up with him, she says, "Little Johnny, don't worry. Your Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, is coming to stay tomorrow. We will take him to the circus and he will sort that nasty clown out." At this news, Little Johnny cheers up and looks forward to the next night. The next night comes, and, sure enough, Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee arrives, and the 3 of them set off for the circus. When they get there, Little Johnny, his mom, and Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, sit down and enjoy the lions, the tigers, the jugglers, and the trapeze artists, and then out come the clowns. Again, Little Johnny is enjoying their antics, and yet again, one of the clowns comes up to him and says, "Little boy, are you the front end of an ass?" Quick as a flash, Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, jumps up and shouts at the very top of his voice, "Fuck off, you red no seats ain't." A council has edited the video of a council meeting after a member forgot to turn his camera off while going to the toilet. The authority has apologized, saying it's the first time they've ever had a problem with a live stream. A woman goes to the doctor looking fantastic, hair and makeup done by a professional, Gucci heels, Versace dress, and a Prada purse. The doctor asks, "What seems to be the problem?" She tells the doctor, "I've been stung by a nasty insect of some kind, but I'm ashamed to tell you where." "It's okay," says the doctor. "Our communication is privileged. I won't tell anyone." "Okay," says the woman. "It was at Walmart." Golfing and a genie. A couple was golfing one day on a very, very exclusive golf course lined with million-dollar houses. On the 3rd tee, the husband said, "Honey, be very careful when you drive the ball. Don't knock out any windows. It'll cost us a fortune to fix." The wife teed up and shanked it right through the window of the biggest house on the course. The husband cringed and said, "I told you to watch out for the houses." "All right, let's go up there, apologize, and see how much this is going to cost." They walked up and knocked on the door. A voice said, Come on in. They opened the door and saw glass all over the floor and a broken bottle lying on its side in the foyer. A man on the couch said, "Are you the people who broke my window?" Yeah, sorry about that." The husband replied, "No, actually, I want to thank you. I'm a genie who was trapped for 1,000 years inside that bottle. You've released me. I'm allowed to grant 3 wishes. I'll give you each 1 wish, and I'll keep the last one for myself." "Okay, great." The husband said, "I want $1 million a year for the rest of my life." "No problem. It's the least I could do. And you? What do you want?" The genie said, looking at the wife. "I want a house in every country of the world," she said. "Consider it done," the genie replied. "And what's your wish, genie?" The husband said. "Well, since I've been trapped in that bottle, I haven't been with a woman in 1,000 years. My wish is to sleep with your wife." The husband looked at the wife and said, "Well, we did get a lot of money in all those houses, honey. I guess I can look the other way." The genie took the wife upstairs and ravished her for 2 hours. After it was over, the genie rolled over, looked at the wife and said, "How old is your husband anyway?" 35, she replied. "And he still believes in genies." That's amazing. The ski trip Jack decided to go skiing with his buddy Bob. They loaded up Jack's station wagon and headed north. After driving for a few hours, they got caught in a terrible blizzard. They pulled into a nearby farmhouse and asked the attractive lady of the house if they could spend the night. "I'm a recent widow," she explained, "and I'm afraid the neighbors will talk if I let you stay in my house." "Not to worry," Jack said. "We'll be happy to sleep in the barn." 9 months later, Jack got a letter from the widow's attorney. He called up his friend Bob and said, "Bob, do you remember that good-looking widow from the farm where we stayed?" "Yes, I do." "Did you happen to get up in the middle of the night, go up to the house and have sex with her?" "Yes, I did." "Did you happen to use my name instead of telling her your name?" Bob's face turned red and he said, "Yeah, I'm afraid I did." "Well, thanks a lot, pal. She just died and left me her farm." A council has edited the video of a council meeting after a member forgot to turn his camera off while going to the toilet. The authority has apologized, saying it's the first time they've ever had a problem with a live stream.